So I keep on seeing like posts about this Charlie dude, whatever, Kirk dude, whatever. Regardless. And let me just say this. I'm surprised that y'all didn't get rid of him sooner. And I'm surprised that you guys aren't getting rid of more people. Like, don't stop with him. Don't let him be the end dog. Get rid of them all. And the ones that are above him. Your mayor. Your city councilman. What is it? Georgia Power? The people that keep on raising our shit? The CEO, get rid of them. Yeah. Like, what? It was so crazy. I watched like a 60 minute, whatever. Y'all know what I mean. 1 minute edit of like the things he said, and they're like so atrocious that like his wife deserves to go too. Y'all keep on talking about his wife and kids. They need to go too because they're carrying on that mentality and that lineage.
This is why I'm making this video. This young woman sees a 60-second clip of a man who lived 31 years and has thousands and thousands of hours of recorded video online. And from that 60-second clip, she has decided that not only is it good that he's gone, but that his wife and kids gotta go too. So I was planning on giving like a whole bunch of qualifiers before doing this video, but I don't even care. You can think whatever you want about me after this. The only qualifiers I will give is that you don't have to agree with everything Charlie Kirk said. I don't agree with a lot of the things he said. I think he has said some really good stuff, and I think he's said some really trash stuff. But what I'm going to be addressing today is this clip culture that we have, this out of context clip culture that we have had for years now, where we see this 30-second, 60-second clip, and we base our entire understanding of an individual off of these short, tiny clips, completely ripped out of context. And in that 60 seconds, the person who is speaking is now placed in the category of my enemy. And it creates people like this young woman right here. And you may be thinking you're not one of these people, but trust me, we are all susceptible to it. So I'm going to be addressing some of the main claims made about Charlie. And for no other reason than if I was taken from this earth earlier than everyone around me thought I was going to go, and millions of people grabbed 60-second clips of my video and started painting me as a racist, homophobe, transphobe, all of these things that they're painting Charlie Kirk. And my kids got to grow up seeing that stuff. That's why I'm making this video. And hopefully to wake you up out of this clip out of context culture. So I'm not going to be giving too much commentary on these clips. I'm just going to give you the claim. I'm going to play the clips and let you make the decision for yourself. I'm also going to grab some clips from other content creators to get their input on some of this stuff. But let's get it started with this young woman right here, because I think she has a really good perspective.
I've said it once and I will say it again. TikTok clip culture is ruining people's brains. You all are not as smart as you think you are. Just because you see 7 seconds of a clip out of context where something seems like something is racist or it seems like something is misogynistic, maybe you should watch more than 7 seconds.
Maybe.
But because your attention span is gone, you're freaking Dory, you think, oh yeah, 7 seconds, he's a fascist. Where did your critical thinking go? Where is it? Where is it? And it's not just the attention span clip culture that's the issue. It's the fact that we're throwing around words as if they mean nothing. Charlie Kirk says, oh, if I see a black pilot, I might wonder if they're DEI. How is that inherently racist? DEI is a thing, is it not? Is it racist to wonder? I wonder if that black pilot is DEI hired. If you said that to your ancestor that got beat, lynched, and you said, this is racism, they'd call you retarded. Yes, I said that word. They call you retarded. So what are we doing here? What do words mean anymore? What is going on? Where is your critical thinking? Where is it? I can't find it. I can't.
All right, so since she spoke about DEI, let's start with that. There's a quote going around that Charlie Kirk said that if he sees a black pilot, he's going to wonder if that black pilot is qualified. And that comment means he's racist. I mean, it sounds racist if you just read that in a vacuum. But anyway, we'll get into that clip and a few other clips, but let's start with this one.
What's up, guys? Okay, so I decided to be the black person Charlie Kirk translator because you guys need to understand what he actually said, and then you'll see how hard the Democratic Party is lying to make you hate him. So let's start with the black pilots are not qualified statement. Okay, one, Charlie Kirk never said that. He just literally never said those words, okay? What he actually said on a podcast with multiple other people, they were talking about DEI practices and talking about how statistically, when companies are told to focus on hiring based on race and not based on merit or ability, they end up looking into less qualified applicant pools so that they can fill their quotas. Now, that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm going to give you an example to lock it in. If you're a man and you go to the nightclub and you get 5 numbers and all of those women are 10s, they're gorgeous, right? Your homeboy says, tomorrow when we go back, I want you to get 50 numbers. 50. Now, are you going to be able to find 50 10s to get numbers from the same sample size? No, they don't exist. They're not there. So you're going to have to start getting 8s and 9s and even 7s just to get those 50 phone numbers and fill your quota. The podcast with Charlie was talking about how airlines want to go from 4% black people up to 40% of diversity, okay? And the question was, where are they going to get them all from? I'm a black woman in my 30s, and I personally, out of the thousands of black people I know 2 pilots, and both of them are in the Air Force. Where are they going to find all of these black pilots to fly commercial airlines very quickly? That's the concern. It's never a question of whether or not people are able to be qualified. The question is, are there enough qualified people right now to hit these quotas without lowering standards? That's it.
I went through a whole windup. I said United Airlines is saying that they want 40% of all their pilots to be people of color or women. We have learned that we have relaxed standards anytime that we try to reach racial quotas. Anytime we reach racial quotas, we relax the standards. Standards for air traffic control, professors, or college admissions. Therefore, when it comes to pilots or surgeons, if I see somebody who is black, as I said on the show, I'm going to hope that person is qualified. That's what I said, which of course is legitimate, because they're begging the question, we're not hiring based on merit anymore. We're hiring based on race. Now, so when you see a black pilot, you wonder, boy, is that person there because they earned it or because they were placed there? That's what DEI does. It makes you ask questions you otherwise would not ask.
All right, so let's watch the actual podcast to see if he's telling the truth.
Inflation, it hits personally. And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit.
By the way, The Right Stuff is a movie. I know there's some people who don't know that.
Before we took off, and I feel better now thinking about that.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Notice what he said. He said, you want a thought crime? You want to hear a thought crime? Meaning this is not a thought that he wants to be thinking.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
I want to be as blunt as possible, because now I'm connecting 2 dots. Wait a second, the CEO just said that he's forcing that a white qualified guy is not going to get the job. So I see this guy, he might be a nice person. I say, boy, I hope he's not a Harvard-style affirmative action student that has points for, and he landed half of his flight simulator, trials.
That's the thing.
It's
such a good point.
And by the way, so fair. It creates like unhealthy thinking patterns. I don't want to think that way, and no one should.
It creates unhealthy thinking patterns, and I don't want to think that way, and no one should. So he's recognizing that that is an unhealthy thinking pattern and that he doesn't want to think that way. But these policies are creating these thought patterns that wouldn't exist before. Now, you can agree or disagree with DEI. He's just simply saying that this creates thought patterns that one wouldn't have without these policies being in place.
Now have all the documents that show that we went on a hiring spree to have more black air traffic controllers. There's a huge lawsuit about this, 15, 16, 17, where the standards for air traffic control have dropped so dramatically, and you're kind of seeing some of the effects of that potentially. But it just kind of comes down to more of a moral argument that I have, which is that if you have something based on merit, I don't care if it's all black, all Asian, all white. It's an excellent group is what I want, not a diverse group. I care about excellence, not diversity, because I do not believe diversity is a strength. I believe unity is a strength. Right now, the NBA is 75% black. Mm-hmm. If all of a sudden the NBA said, we want more diversity, it's too black.
Yeah.
Right? Because we want to have more diversity.
Right.
And they would say, we're not allowed to have any more than 30% of the NBA be black. Mm-hmm. Would the quality of the NBA go down?
The quality of the NBA, arguably right now, yeah, it would. But
so
it would get super boring.
Half of the, and I think you can see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no, for
half
sure.
of the NFL is black.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden, Roger Goodell, boo, we don't like Roger Goodell. If he came and he's like, hey, diversity is our strength.
Right.
We're only going to say 30% of the NFL is black. You would have other unqualified white people that would then get positions in the NFL, and the quality of play would slip.
Right.
So you get the argument.
Yeah.
You then extrapolate that to other walks of life.
Right.
You think to yourself, let's just hire the best.
Yeah.
And the NFL does hire the best.
It should be the best no
Totally.
matter what the thing
Skin
is.
color.
Like, but I don't think there should be restrictions to anybody. As long as you're
I
good
agree.
at what you do, it doesn't really matter to me.
I agree.
All right. Well, then we stand in agreement then.
All right, so that's the DEI stuff. Let's now pivot into the claim that Charlie Kirk is a racist, because it's kind of under the same category. Now, the number one claim about him being a racist is this quote that is out there that Charlie Kirk said that black women don't have the same brain capacity as white women, or something along those lines. I found a really good breakdown from this channel right here. I will leave a link. I'm going to leave a link for not only this channel, but all of the clips that I've taken. I'm going to leave links to their channels as well. But this is a good breakdown of it. Let's get into it.
Some of you,
by the way, this one's a little bit longer than the other ones,
that have sent me clips, sent me DMs and all this stuff, how can you defend a man who said that black women, blah, blah, y'all sent me all this stuff stating that Charlie Kirk said that black women do not have the brain processing power to be taken seriously. You have to go steal a white person's slot. Y'all told me that. Y'all put it in quotations and everything. Black women do not have the brain processing power.
Yeah, that was the quote. I had it a little bit wrong.
Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any of you that have a brain, I want you to watch this clip with me in real time. And I'm telling you right now, you can go watch this on your own. I'm going to be pausing the video. Again, this is supposed to be in reference to them saying that Charlie Kirk said that black women, they put it in quotations, black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously. You have to go steal a white person's slot. Let's go.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the...
Who did he say? Did he just say all black women right now? To y'all to just listen. Did he name all 4 women? You can answer yes or no in the comment section. Did he name all 4 women just standing there? He named all 4 women. Did he say black women? Keep that in mind. Did he say black women? Okay, let's keep going.
Racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's...
Who is he talking to? Who is he talking about when he just said that? All black women or those black women? This is what I'm talking about when it comes to critically thinking. This is what y'all try to do when y'all try to bait individuals like myself and others into that narrative. You can tell me, Ty, it is a nice, bright, sunny day outside. Whether you like me or not, you can tell me that. Guess what Ty does? Okay, cool. Now, just because I'm nodding my head like this does not mean I agree with you. I'm just nodding my head because I'm saying, I get what you're saying. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go outside and see if it is indeed a nice, bright, sunny day. Who did he name off? 4 people. Who is he referencing to? These 4 people. That's easy. If you have critical thinking, that should be easy.
The issue is a lot of people don't.
You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
Hold on, let's go back to it again. I'm going to play it without interruption.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the... But now they're coming out...
Them, those four?
They're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously.
Where did he say black women in there? Where did he say black women do not have the brain processing power? Well, those women are black. Bull crap. He's talking about those four. This is what y'all try to do. This stuff doesn't work on me.
You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
Those four. And that's why he's going to show who. Who is he showing right here?
All right, so if you want to watch the rest of it, like I said, I will be linking his video below. But clear example of misrepresenting him. He's specifically talking about those four women, not all black women in general. All right, so I came across this video after I started editing. Just figured this would be this would give some more context.
Well, let me just be clear. I got into Harvard only because of affirmative action. Well, let me just be clear. I got into Harvard only because of affirmative action.
Now I'm just going to play a few more of racist Charlie clips.
Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around. You know, for daughters and for sons, it's different things. For a daughter, that's a father figure to look up to say that is how a man should act, and someone that I ought to one day marry, someone that will protect me from a vicious world, and someone that makes me understand what strength and not brutality looks like, what justice but not revenge looks like. To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place. So some people need help and they need social assistance. All of that should be about incentivizing the dad staying around, not the dad leaving. Unfortunately, with welfare, you can get more money for single mother assistance.
This is very true.
And so right, you agree. We're actually subsidizing single motherhood more than we are subsidizing family formation. The number one objective of any social welfare program should be, how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family? Yes. That is the number one priority.
For the sake of myself, I really do appreciate the ability to debate with you, man.
I want you to think about what I asked you.
Okay, you mind if I have a hat?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Great points. I would say that I am with you for the idea of a colorblind society. I think it's a bit of a farce to say that colorblind society is something we should aspire to, but I think it's a farce to think that it doesn't exist, that race doesn't play a factor. I totally agree.
Okay. Yeah, you're black, but it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It's not the most important thing. Instead, it's, are you a good person? How do you act? How do you treat other people? Are you a Christian? Like, what is your worldview? I want to get back to that. Of course, we're still going to see differences, but I want to de-emphasize them to a place where we look at each other as fellow human beings and fellow American citizens. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, can I get a hat from my buddy?
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. Can I shake your hand, man? Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Thankfully, I was raised away from all that. 2 loving parents.
And that's the greatest thing that you are, one of the, if not the greatest. And that's my hope for every child, black, white, or Asian, to have 2 parents. That is a ticket to success. Please continue. But here's something I will encourage you to do as a Christian. Care less about people's shared racial experience and look at them instead of just as their soul, as God made them. We should try to strive towards a blinder race nation, not one that talks about skin color all the time.
I agree 100%.
And I think, where's my brother up here? Where's my man? Look at him. You got to come up here. Come up here. Come up here. Come up here. Get over the gate. Come over the gate. Look at this guy here. Look at this. Here. Right to the mic.
You stand for me, we good.
Wait, I only stand up for white. Is that a white man? Can you look at him, please? Look at him. Is that a white man?
Fist bump.
Is that?
I gave him a fist bump.
White man? You said I only stand up for white men. He's got dreads. Instead of just looking at everything in the past that's wrong and bad through a victim lens, say, you know what?
It's still going on. Okay,
one sec. Say, you know what? I'm an American, and I'm going to use my mental energy to say, despite all of that, I get to succeed and flourish and prosper as a black American at the University of Tennessee. You are a living embodiment, Gigi, that you can still succeed as a black individual.
Okay.
Because I look at you not as a black guy, but as a human being made in the image of God, and I want to know what you bring to the table. Are you good at the job?
Here are 15 racist things Charlie Kirk has said over the years.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
How are you? What a beautiful kid that is.
Thank you.
What a gift from God.
Much.
Yeah.
She truly is just seeing how high.
I'm not gonna lie, I think whoever just put Charlie with black people on here, I think that's a little weird. Just a little bit. And Kanye, like, I don't know. But you guys get the point.
So for people who want to call Charlie a racist, kiss my black ass. Excuse my language. Charlie Kirk is not a racist.
I love this guy. I'll tell you.
A lot of them never imagined going to the White House, and Charlie helped hundreds of young black boys and girls go to the White House. Charlie, thank you for that. Thank you, Charlie.
Helped hundreds of young black boys and girls get to the White House. Sounds like the work of a racist. I thought this one was interesting.
Would you say that black-only dormitories is wrong?
It certainly creates a sense of community. I don't see any problem with that.
Are there differences between races?
No, not biologically.
Then why would we have different dormitories for races?
Culture.
Segregation is what you're arguing for, my friend.
No, sir.
How is it not segregation to have blacks in their own dorm? Ibram X. Kendi argues, who is one of the leading thinkers of critical theory, discrimination today to atone for discrimination of yesterday. We have black-only graduation ceremonies at Columbia University, black-only dormitories across the country, for example, at Western Washington University. Can you join me today in saying black-only dormitories are evil, wrong, and it's segregation? Would you support white-only dormitories?
Everybody has a choice.
So I think white-only and black-only anything is evil and wrong. That's why I hate critical theory and critical race theory, because when it's put in practice, you start to discriminate people based on race. So we're now south of the Mason-Dixon line in North Carolina. We did a lot of work to get rid of segregation in this country. Why are you trying to bring it back?
What work?
The Civil Rights Act of 1964.
In this state?
Yeah, actually in this state. Are there black-only bathrooms out there I'm unaware of, or white-only bathrooms?
Nah.
Right. A lot of work was done in this state.
Fuck you, your face is small.
Well, thanks for being here. They always go to insults when they lose the argument. God bless you, my friend.
Ridiculous. So we're also going to get into what Charlie Kirk said about the Civil Rights Act, because there's a lot of quotes about that going around. We'll get into that in a second. We got 2 more clips here that I thought were interesting.
Black Americans are poorer today in 2024 than they were in the 1950s.
Yes. Why do you think that is?
Good question. So we have the Civil Rights Act. We have more benefits, more government programs. Something changed between the 1950s and 2024. So there's 2 answers to this question. Either America got more racist since 1950s to 2024. So like that 70-year period, because black Americans are worse off today per capita.
Yeah,
than
I would
they
agree
were.
with this.
You agree with that? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Than in the 1950s. Or there's another explanation. And I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, which is I think you would acknowledge that the disappearance of the black father has been the #1 driver of black poverty in this country. Now, there are reasons for that we could.
What do you think the reasons for that are?
Well, culture is one. Would you agree?
So actually, let's go back to the foundations
of that
school to prison
culture. Pipeline, all that stuff. But can we at least agree that black dads not being around is a bad thing?
Anyone's father not being around is a bad thing.
No, of course, but
specifically.
75% of black youth are not raised with a father in the home. It's the highest of any group in the country.
Whether you like what he has to say or not, you don't get to just misquote him. And I understand, because when I was on the left, I thought that I could trust my party. So I could just trust the headline or trust the 10-second clip, because they wouldn't just character assassinate or physically assassinate anybody that disagrees with them politically, right? Actually, what I realized is that they call anybody a racist that has a difference of opinion in order to shut the conversation down, because why would you listen to what a racist has to say? So this will be a series. And if you are in support of this series, please like, comment, and subscribe so that I can keep going, because we don't get to just misquote people because we disagree with them. Happy Sunday.
And we're going to finish this section off with this young woman right here. She had some interesting perspective on Charlie Kirk being a racist.
Telling black people you don't need government assistance because you can be somebody is not racist. Telling us that government assistance has hindered us because before we were on government assistance, we were a more successful people is not racist by reading and understanding the facts. Ever since we started getting subsidized by the government, We have been controlled by the government, and not in only what we can do, but how we think. So when they're pointing out this stuff, y'all don't like nobody telling y'all the truth. Black people don't want to hear the truth because we benefit off of not working and being lazy off of government assistance and stuff. One thing Charlie Kirk also said was if the black people want to become better, we're going to have to stop celebrating crime and murder. Our culture is destruction. Everything we have from the women in our idolization groups, Beyonce, Summer Walker, SZA, Cardi B, Sexy Red, all of them are horrible examples of how to be as a woman. The same thing with the NBA young boy, Lil Baby, Duh Baby, Lil Wayne, Baby, P. Diddy. All of those are examples of how to be a terrible person. And what he is saying is get these examples from in front of you and your kids so that y'all can thrive. Also, let's work on building the family back. One of the things that destroyed the family was removing a father out the home. Put that back together so we can start becoming a good community. But we don't like being told nothing. We don't like being told how to better ourselves because we want to be victims so bad. We want to be at the bottom of somebody's pity party so bad that we'll take anything we can to disregard or dismiss any ethical or sound doctrine to help better ourselves, so that we can steady dwell on a past that no longer affects us, and that we can overcome and have the ability to become somebody.
Really powerful perspective. So as I was listening to all this, I was thinking I had a friend reach out to me when Charlie Kirk got shot, and it's one of my black friends. He said that he wants to put something out about it, but he's afraid of the backlash that he was going to get. And I found that to be pretty telling. And I say that to highlight, this is part of what Charlie's mission was. He was a free speech advocate. And if you disagree with me in anything that I'm saying or showing, it is your right to publicly say it. And we have that right because of people like Charlie Kirk, who are free speech advocates to the point of losing their life over it. All right, so let's jump into the civil rights stuff.
This is what Charlie Kirk had to say about the Civil Rights Act.
If you had the opportunity, you would get rid of the Civil Rights Act?
No, I think you should have a one-page bill that says that racial discrimination based on race is illegal and will not be tolerated in the United States of America. Most black Americans don't support is men and female sports. Would you agree?
Hell no.
Yeah, I know. No, for sure, right? Yeah. Believe it or not, the Civil Rights Act is now being used to keep men playing in women's sports. So the Civil Rights Act was used to help black America originally. Totally get that. But now the way it was written is that any claim of identification, so someone says, I'm a woman, therefore I can compete in your volleyball team, they come in with a civil rights claim. And so what we're saying is, no, it should be specified to racial, not gender, all that other stuff. And there were all these other provisions as well.
Now do you get it? He was not trying to say that blacks should lose their rights and equal protections under the law. He was saying that homosexuals, the LGBTQIA plus and counting community, there's 72 genders in counting. He was saying that those individuals should not have special rights. We should have equal rights under the law, but not special rights.
All right, next clip.
The Civil Rights Act was a mistake. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, so the parts of the Civil Rights Act were great, but the way it's now being implemented to force men in female bathrooms to push forward of the trans agenda, the intent of the Civil Rights Act is way beyond what it was originally authored for.
But the intent specifically originally was to...
Well, that's interesting. So the intent and the law are two different things. So the intent was noble, which was to say that no American can be not allowed into a place of business based on the color of their skin or their ethnic heritage. Totally agreement with that. Totally agreement with that. Totally agreement with that. That's not what the law only did. It created a massive anti-racist DEI army that then gave us affirmative action. For example, recently Merrick Garland sued using the Civil Rights Act, saying that we cannot have voter ID in certain states because it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. So basically what the Civil Rights Act did is that it went beyond disparate impact and then went to disparate effect. In the sense where if black Americans are not doing as well as white Americans in a certain category, you can now use the Civil Rights Act and say that's a violation of the Civil Rights Act, even though there might be other contributing factors. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's too broad, too wide, and it's now doing a lot of damage to the country. It's being used well beyond its original intent.
You said the Civil Rights...
So the way it was painted is that Charlie Kirk just hates the Civil Rights Act and it should just be thrown out completely. But here, in the full context, you see that he just doesn't like how it's being used for other things. Now, he has said some pretty bad stuff about Martin Luther King, and two things can be true at the same time. Somebody can be involved in some pretty bad stuff and still do really good things. All right, so since the LGBT community was brought up, let's get into the Charlie Kirk being a homophobe. I have a few clips here, but I think I'm going to start with this one.
Hey, Mr. Kirk, thanks for coming out tonight. I got a question for you real quick. Up until about 5 years ago when gay marriage was legalized nationwide, the conservative movement has been explicitly pro-traditional family. Now, both you and your organization advocate for the acceptance of anti-Christian, immoral lifestyles like homosexuality and transsexuality, going as far to invite drag queens like Lady MAGA to your events. It seems to me and anyone who's paying attention that conservatives just believe whatever liberals believed 5 years ago. Right now, there's a push by the left to normalize pedophilia by way of child drag queen shows and... Oh, excuse me. Phone shut off.
Go back to your notes. That's probably where you saved it. You know, you got to like push double tap and then go over.
Right now, there is a push by the left to normalize pedophilia by way of child drag queen shows and rebranding pedophiles as minor attracted persons. 5 years from now, will you be promoting child drag queen shows? Will child abuse become part of the conservative platform?
Boy, that's a slippery slope fallacy if I've ever seen one. First of all, I've never invited a drag queen to come to any Turning Point USA event. I was at Politicon, and an individual by the name of Lady MAGA came up, and I took a picture, and she walked away. Secondly, let me ask you a question. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, sir.
So are you a proud Trump supporter?
Of course.
So are you sickened that he had a gay man speak at his convention?
Yes.
Then you're not a Trump supporter, my friend. Thank you very much. Let me ask you another question. Should he return the money of Peter Thiel, an openly gay man who supports his campaign?
No, if it helps him strategically,
okay.
Sure he can.
Should he stop talking to Tammy Bruce, who's an open lesbian that's a Fox News contributor?
If it's affecting his ideas, then probably, yeah.
Okay, so you say you're a Trump supporter, yet you have all these issues and these disagreements with him. Let me be very clear about my position. My personal position. I'm a Christian first and foremost, then an American, then a constitutionalist, then a conservative. In that order. I believe marriage, biblically, if we want to have a biblical and theological discussion, as articulated in the greatest book ever to exist in the history of the world, the Holy Bible. Marriage in the Holy Bible is one man, one woman. I also do not believe in the sort of rhetoric that some people engage in, that all of a sudden that they say there's no place for gay people in the conservative movement. I do not believe that. And let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question then?
Sure, go for it.
So, the American family, liberty, freedom, the Constitution, our history, veterans, that's what we're conserving. I'll get to you later though, don't worry. So let me ask you a question. If you had your way, what would you do with gay people in America?
What would I do with them?
Because they're not allowed in the conservative movement, so would you just kick them out anytime they show up at a Republican Party? If you were in charge, like what would you say? You can't be part of the Republican Party.
If somebody is advocating for being openly homosexual, yeah, they should not be part of the conservative movement.
So I just want to go through the list. Guy Benson, no place in the conservative movement. Dave Rubin, no place in the conservative movement. Peter Thiel, no place in the conservative movement. So that just to go down the list.
If they are supporting open homosexuality.
So I'm going to ask a very respectful question, as respectfully as I can. What does what they do in their private life concern you so much that you have to go up in front of a crowd? And
it is against God. That is
so. Let me ask
Are you a Christian or not?
Do we live in a theocracy? Yes or no? No. Do we live in a theocracy?
You said you're a Christian.
I am a Christian. And do you know what? And guess what? I will say this. Part of being a Christian is appropriately interpreting what the theological says for the individual, but also means to be long-suffering and patient and loving and kind. Jesus Christ talked to all people. Jesus Christ went and did his ministry through Judea and Samaria, and he had dinner with tax collectors, and he had dinner with prostitutes, and he did his ministry in every part of the Mediterranean. What it means to be a Christian, my friend, is to be open-minded but firm in your beliefs, so you can have that belief But if you say there's something inherently wrong with communicating or associating just because they make different personal decisions than you, sir, are not a conservative. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like something that a raging homophobe would say when somebody is attacking gay people.
So I do not have hate for a group. I do not have hate for a people. I have hate
just so I can get it on my camera. So Instagram,
don't worry, we
hi.
got plenty of cameras, but yeah.
But yes, so you do not hate the LGBT community,
No,
and Turning Point is not against LGBT.
No, how could I hate that which I have a heart for?
Thank you.
And I might not agree at that for some of the lifestyle choices that some people make, but of course not. And if someone said, Charlie, what's your view on marriage? I say, I believe marriage is between one man and one woman. But if you ask me, what do I have hate in my heart for somebody that doesn't choose the lifestyle that I believe that God laid out in the scriptures? Of course not.
I thought this one was pretty funny.
Hey, how do you feel about gays, and should you circumcise your kids?
Well, how do I feel about gays? I mean, all people are equal in the eyes of God. My religion teaches me that homosexuality is a sin, and that is, I believe the behavior of homosexuality is a sin. You guys can disagree with that. That's what my religion teaches me. However, in the conservative movement and on our team, we have a lot of people that are same-sex attracted and do an amazing job and are part of Turning Point USA, and we welcome in that way. As far as circumcision, it's a personal decision. The rest of the world does not circumcise. I will say this. There's a lot more errors when it comes to circumcision than people would ever tell you. It's not for cleanliness, and there's a lot more issues with it related. 75% of the world does not circumcise, so just keep that in mind. But it's a personal decision. I don't talk about it publicly very much. What's your name?
Caden Dixon.
Nice to meet you. I have never received a question on circumcision, so kudos to you, man. All right. And a very important issue, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so for this one, we're going to get into the T of the LGBT.
I just want to say I'm a transgender male. What age should kids be able to get things like hormone therapy? Because I don't know what's true, what's not.
Tell me, are you comfortable telling me your story?
I've known that since like 3rd grade, and I'm currently 19, almost 20. I've known basically since then. I didn't start going by like a different name until 7th and 8th grade. I just don't know, like with the whole medical stuff, like what's true, what's not, what's helpful, because I've heard so many different opinions.
First of all, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to have an opinion that very few people will ever tell you, which is I want you to be very cautious putting drugs into your system in the pursuit of changing your body.
Mm-hmm.
I instead encourage you to work on what's going on in your brain first. I think what you need first and foremost is just a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Just someone that is going to listen to what you've gone through, listen to what else is going on. My prayer for
My apologies, I thought this clip was longer. But he goes on to say that his prayer for this person is that they would get the psychological help that they need. I have a heart for people who truly suffer with gender dysphoria. I think that it's something that I couldn't even imagine going through, like actually believing that I was a different sex than I am. You know, that's not something that I could really comprehend. That being said, I think there's a difference between that and then people who are just pervs. What Charlie fights back on the most is when we're prescribing these irreversible, damaging surgery and medical interventions to children. Now another claim is that he's a misogynist. And what's interesting is that part of the reason that he has worked towards trying to get men out of women's sports is because that hurts women. Doesn't sound misogynistic to me. But now that I'm thinking about it, that probably comes from the fact that he's pro-life. And so am I. So I guess if that's the case, then I guess I'm misogynist as well. That being said, let's get into some of Charlie Kirk's comments on women and see how misogynistic he is.
women want to be able, they want to be taken care of. I know this is like super provocative.
So misogynistic.
But like deep down, they want a man to be able to provide for them financially.
Should a man pay on the first date?
100%. Like, what kind of a wuss beta male is splitting the check? Like, who are you? It's like, I'm just sorry. It's I would go into debt and like scrub dishes before a woman paid for it.
I split the check quite a lot.
Come on, fam.
So I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you. you guys are great. That's incomprehensible to me. I think that's...
To me, I thought it was a great financial decision.
So for those of you who don't know, this guy's like a financial YouTuber.
Okay, so from your prism, I totally get that. And like, you have really good financial discipline. I'm sorry. Like, I would be so humiliated if
I'm more with you on that.
It's like, I find that to be like
care.
the greatest beta male, like humiliation.
To save money?
To like the idea that a woman that you're trying to court. Now, if it's like a friend thing
as a first date, you don't even know if she's like
matter.
the qualities
It does
worth.
not matter. I'm sorry. By the way, that money you save is not worth the honor that you compromise.
It is such a big deal.
It's a massive deal.
I agree with Charlie here. I remember when I was younger, if I didn't have the money to take someone out on a date, I would avoid them like crazy. I had some tough times in my life, and I would just avoid them like crazy. Anyway, this is getting off subject. Let's go into one of the last things we're going to talk about, probably the most controversial. Does it look like this?
How's it going, Charlie? I'm Austin.
So this is the full context of this quote from Charlie, where he said that unfortunately having the right to bear arms is going to come with the cost of some lives. And this is definitely one of the more controversial things that he says or that's quoted. And I think that the context of this interaction gives that quote more perspective. It doesn't make it less controversial, but it does give it more perspective. And I'm sorry that the quality of this video is really bad. Really bad.
How's it going, Charlie? I'm Austin. I just had a question related to Second Amendment rights. We saw the shooting that happened recently, and a lot of people are upset. But I'm seeing people argue for the other side that they want to take our Second Amendment rights away. How do we convince them that it's important to have the right to defend ourselves and all that good stuff?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you. So I'm a big Second Amendment fan, but I think most politicians are cowards when it comes to defending why we have a Second Amendment. This is why I would not be a good politician. Or maybe I would, I don't know. But because I actually speak my mind. The Second Amendment is not about hunting. I love hunting. The Second Amendment is not even about personal defense. That is important. The Second Amendment is there, God forbid, so that you can defend yourself against a tyrannical government. And if that talk scares you, wow, that's radical, Charlie. I don't know about that. Well, then you have not really read any of the literature of our founding fathers. Number two, you've not read any 20th century history. You're just living in Narnia. By the way, if you were actually living in Narnia, you would be wiser than wherever you're living, because C.S. Lewis was really smart. So I don't know what alternative universe you're living in. You just don't want to face reality that governments tend to get tyrannical, and that if people need an ability to protect themselves and their communities and their families. Now, we must also be real. We must be honest with the population. Having an armed citizenry comes with a price. And that is part of liberty. Driving comes with a price. 50,000 people die on the road every year. That's a price. You get rid of driving, you'd have 50,000 less auto fatalities. But we have decided that the benefit of driving, speed, accessibility, mobility, having products, services, is worth the cost of 50,000 people dying on the road. Wow. So we need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen. Right. You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home, by having more armed guards in front of schools. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe. So then how do you reduce? Very simple. People say, oh, Charlie, how do you stop school shootings? I don't know. How did we stop shootings at baseball games? Because we have armed guards outside of baseball games. That's why. How did we stop all the shootings at airports? We have armed guards outside of airports. How do we stop all the shootings at banks? We have armed guards outside of banks. How do we stop all the shootings at gun shows? Notice there's not a lot of mass shootings at gun shows. There's all these guns because everyone's armed. If our money and our sporting events and our airplanes have armed guards, why don't our children?
So that is the quote in its greater context. I will allow you to judge for yourself on how to interpret it now that you have the context. And again, sorry this video is super blurry. So there's a few more videos that I could have shown going over some more claims, but I think you guys get the point. So even if after we went through all of this, you still can't stand Charlie Kirk, that's fine. You're allowed to feel however you want to feel. I just hope that given the greater context of some of these pulled out of context quotes, you can recognize when this is being done to you down the line. Or you can think about times that this may have been done to you before, that you reacted to something that was pulled out of context. And in doing so, you formed an opinion about somebody or something that you truly don't know anything about. I was not somebody who spent a lot of time watching Charlie Kirk's stuff. I loved watching his debates on college campuses, but I only watched clips here and there. One thing that I loved him for was him championing free speech and dialogue. I love debates. And so since he was in that realm, I respected him for it. I even respect people that I severely disagree with who are willing to debate their points and put their opinions out there publicly. I don't think any of them have done it on the scale of Charlie, but that's neither here nor there. So when people started quoting him, since I did not watch a whole lot of his content, I wanted to go digging, and this is what I found. So I've presented to you a lot of what I found. I found a lot more, but I've presented to you enough for you to make an educated decision for yourself on how to feel about these quotes that were taken out of context. And I wanted to finish all this with my favorite clip that I came across, and here it is.
30 seconds left to live. I'm dying from a gunshot wound. But what would you actually want to tell me if I have 30 seconds left to live?
Boy, you got 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, you're about to meet eternal judgment. And there's only one way that you can get bailed out of that. And it's not all the good things you did or the moral scorecard. It's whether or not you have Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. And that's the only thing that's going to matter. And so you got 10 seconds left, you're dying from a gunshot wound. And you ask the question, who is Jesus Christ? And the answer to that singular question, who is Jesus Christ, is the most important question for everyone in the audience. Not how much money you have, not how much good stuff you do. It is, who is Jesus Christ? You might say, oh, Jesus was, a teller of good tales, or Jesus was a good person, or Jesus was a historical figure. None of that's going to cut it. It's whether or not you repent and you ask Christ to come in as your Lord and Savior. That's the only thing that will save you from eternal damnation.
Amen, Charlie. Amen. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, this is not a political channel. I mostly talk about things revolving around Christianity and Jesus. I sometimes talk about politics, but it's not the main focus of this channel. So if you're interested in seeing more content about Jesus and Christianity, and I spend a lot of time debunking other worldviews in light of the truth of the gospel, then definitely like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you're somebody who stumbled on this video and you're hyper into politics and you're really not interested in the Jesus stuff, maybe stick around anyway. That being said, God bless. Thank you for making it all the way to the end. And remember, use your critical thinking, be a free thinker, think for yourself, and don't let social media or mainstream media think for you. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Oh, and watch whatever video YouTube is popping up on the screen right now.